So, today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. And it's something that's not seen in the Halo series pretty much at all, really. And that's freedom of gameplay. Making the game more of a sandbox than it is a linear scripted adventure. Now, Halo 5 is arguably the most linear Halo game I've played. In fact, I would go as far as saying it is the most linear Halo game I've played. And while this can have its positives, it can have a really well crafted story that the writers and the developers want you to experience that story firsthand. It takes a lot away from freedom of gameplay and, in my opinion, makes games a little less enjoyable. Now, as you can see in the gameplay behind me, I'm playing Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which, like I said in my Q&A video, Deus Ex in general is one of my favourite game series. One of the main reasons for that is, I can play the game exactly how I like. And I don't mean just a choice of different weapons. I mean, I can literally create a story, playing side missions and things like that. In fact, Deus Ex is one of the few game series where I get more enjoyment from the side missions than I do from playing the main missions. Being able to sort of replay sections of the game and find different ways of doing things and, you know, sometimes breaking the game hilariously. Like in Mission 5, I found a way of pulling boxes through a vent and then stacking them up to skip the entire level. It's little things like that that, you know, you don't see in games like Halo, at least not in Halo 5. Because the story is so fine-tuned to give you the same experience every time, that no matter what you do, it all ends up in the same place. In Halo 5's campaign, there are two options: fight or die. And dying just resets, and fight takes you the same place it takes everybody else. The only difference there is there might be a few sandboxy areas, a few sort of breaks in the corridors that you can sort of roam around. But ultimately you're still going to the same place. And I know with Deus Ex you were doing the same thing with the story missions. The story will take you to the same place. But there's so much content outside of that that's seamlessly integrated with the story that allows you to explore a city or multiple cities. You can explore, you can talk to characters. Heck, when I started playing Mankind Divided, I spent 50 minutes walking around this information bank, just talking to all the NPCs and sort of admiring how open-ended the game was. And it's things like that that I wish the Halo series would capitalise on. I know the older Halo games haven't really had this as well, but Halo 3 had some of it with some of the collectibles and things like that. It was a start. But in my opinion, 343's Halos have just become one long line of gameplay. If you went and watched two different Let's Plays of Halo 5 online, they'd look almost identical, because the game is tuned in such a way that makes everybody follow the same path, provided they're trying to follow the path of least resistance. If they're deliberately going out of their way to explore, then sure, people will explore, and I'm sure there's a fair amount of nice hidden content around there. But in Halo 5's campaign, I don't feel the need or the want to wander around the levels looking at things. And that's something that Deus Ex captures perfectly. Just the ability to spend 15-20 minutes wandering around a level or an area, just looking at random crap. You know, Deus Ex Human Revolution had some of the most interesting fake adverts that I've ever seen in a game. It's those sort of things that just make me go, oh, that's a nice touch, that's a nice detail. It's not taking away from the story, it's not adding anything to the story, but it's extra meaningful content. And that's where Halo 5 falls. The story mission is about as cut and dry as it can be. There's nothing extra, there's nothing added. They added a few collectibles in, but I'm going to be honest here, having made something similar to the collectibles in Halo 5 in Unreal Engine 4 does not take long at all. They could have populated all those collectibles in a day, provided they were copy and pasting the text and things on the data pads from somewhere else. Whereas in Deus Ex, it's not just collectibles. Collectibles can help you get key codes and things like that that allow you into secret areas to collect more items, or help make quests down the line or missions down the line easier. And it all links in. Doing the side quests might get you a password for someone's laptop, which might save you hacking it later on in the game, and if you don't have a hacking level high enough, then this will help make that mission a lot easier further on. And it's just variety of gameplay that I feel Halo 5 lacks. Don't get me wrong, the whole space opera story is fantastic. But like a lot of people have said, and I'm going to shout the Ackman out here, like the Ackman has said, Halo 5's story falls flat on its face. And if it doesn't have the gameplay to back that up, and I'm talking single player here, not multiplayer. I know a lot of people love the multiplayer. I'm not too much of a fan, but that's just me. But the single player doesn't have anything special as far as gameplay goes. And if it doesn't have anything special as far as gameplay goes, and the story sucks, then what's the point? I can happily go back and play Halo 3's story, or Halo 2's story. In fact, I downloaded Halo 2 for my original Xbox the other day to put the multiplayer on to take to a little LAN event we were going to. And myself and a friend, we were sat on my bed, and we played through most of the story together. Why? Because we wanted to. Because the story is so good that we can come back to it again and again and again, and enjoy the story every time. And Halo 5 just doesn't have that. And I know that's because we had split screen and we could just play it together now, whereas 2 controllers, 1 Xbox, job's done. But even still, Halo 5's campaign just doesn't hold up to it. Not just in terms of story, because people have mentioned story already, but just in terms of gameplay. I mean, we played through Outskirts and we took the roof route. I know that's not supposed to be intended, really, but it's there. It may be an oversight from the developers, but that slight lack of polish makes that mission a whole lot more interesting because there is a completely different way to approach it. And that's something I wish Halo 5 would do. If Halo 5, well, not so much Halo 5 now, if Halo 6, when they're designing their story missions, which at this point in development they've probably done, unless they do a Halo 5 and rewrite the whole damn thing. But it would be nice to see multiple routes to be taken. And I'm not just saying, oh, here you go, you can choose left or right, but they both join up again a bit later. If you can say, there's a route where you just go through and fight. And then maybe a stealth route, or a route where you go and save some Marines, and then the Marines go off and do the fighting that you would have done in the other route, where you go on and assault a Covenant ship or whatever, or a Promethean ship or whatever. You know? Things like that alter the gameplay enough to make it more interesting to play, and can provide a little bit of a disparity in everybody's playthrough, without affecting the story in a great deal. It's something I would love to see the Halo franchise pick up. Just because I think that the first-person shooter gameplay is getting a bit stale. I'll be honest. I've played a lot of first-person shooters in my time, and they are all starting to get a bit stale now. And if you can't keep the gameplay going, put some quirks in. I'm not saying, change the gameplay up 100%, but if you've got the story that can do it, then people won't mind the gameplay. If you haven't got the story, people will look to the gameplay to keep them interested. And if the gameplay won't keep them interested, well, they will probably trade the game in. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like or a comment, and remember, stay classy. And now for the footage of me destroying Mission 5 of Deus Ex Mankind Divided by taking boxes through a vent.
Smiley, I've got the scan.
Yeah? Fantastic! Bring it back to my office and we'll see if I'm right.
Copy that.